You guys, we have a very spicy update. I'm supposed to be practicing right now with Princess Pie Plays Bass. That's one of my favorite YouTubers. She's also a great commenter and a friend of the channel. But no, I'm bringing you an update because I care. Also, you're awesome. And here's the update. It's really spicy.
Rape, sodomy, perjury, and tampering with evidence. Now, that federal lawsuit was filed Monday, and it alleges that a Letcher County Sheriff's deputy repeatedly sexually abused a woman in those very same chambers. Now, that woman claims that the former deputy, named as Ben Fields, forced her to have sexual relations for 6 months in exchange for staying out of jail.
You have the state police holding the news conference because the sheriff, who normally would hold the news conference, is in jail. Then they can't send him to the jail where you are right now, I understand, because it would be a threat to his life because most of the people in that jail he locked up. And also the judge that would hear the case is now dead.
Mickey Steins has been the sheriff here for about 8 years. Now, as far as Matt Gayhart, he is the investigator, the lead spokesperson, if you will, from Kentucky State Police. Gayhart telling us during a press conference last night that they are, as I mentioned, continuing to work out some details. Gayhart doesn't know at this hour the motive exactly, why this exactly occurred, this shooting, so they're still trying to work things out.
The shots rang out just before 3 p.m.
Letcher County Courthouse, that shot's fired.
Police say the sheriff of rural Letcher County, Kentucky, shot District Judge Kevin Mullins after an argument inside the county courthouse.
Emergency services responded to the area and located District Judge Kevin Mullins with several gunshot wounds.
Attempts to save the 54-year-old judge were unsuccessful. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
We know that it was an argument between the two that led up, but what exactly transpired prior to the shots being fired, still things that we're trying to get answers to.
Police say the 43-year-old sheriff, Sean Steins, was taken into custody without incident.
This community is small in nature, and we're all shook.
It's the third high-profile murder of a judge in the last 2 years.
Well, Dell, I can tell you this, they're still working things out as far as this investigation. It's too early to tell what exactly occurred prior to the shooting that took place here. Just before 3 o'clock is when agencies responded here to the Letcher County Courthouse behind me. We can tell you, as we talk about the scene here yesterday, it was obviously chaotic. I actually caught up with the Whitesburg mayor. I'm in Whitesburg, Kentucky right now. I caught up with that mayor of this town probably around 10:45 this morning, and she told me she just wanted to get a check on the mental health of the officers from the police department here in town just to see how they're doing following their response. They were among the first to respond here yesterday. We know that Kevin Mullins was shot here inside his chambers yesterday afternoon by Sheriff Mickey Steins. As far as the tension between these two, the sheriff and the judge, we know Jamie Neal, the communications specialist here for the administrative courts, released new information this morning. Neal telling us that a retired judge will fill the vacancy now that this situation has occurred. I can tell you that it has been very, very shocking to this small community of about 1,700 people. Very, very quiet at this hour on the streets here. The mood, especially described by the mayor as somber, knowing what occurred, catching up with some people here in town just in terms of the relationship between the two, the judge and the sheriff, still trying to work some things out as far as what that relationship actually was and what led up to the shooting. As I said, the sheriff's office located just behind the courthouse here in Letcher County. Dell.
Now, Drew, apparently these two had an argument, I guess, before shots were fired. Has there been trouble between the sheriff and the judge before?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to work out at this hour. Again, we're hoping to get some new statements from Matt Gayhart, the aforementioned Gayhart from Kentucky State Police, as far as what that tension may have been prior to this shooting. Again, nobody else was inside the chambers at the time of the shooting. Again, this occurred just before 3 o'clock yesterday when those agencies responded. We're trying to reach out to get a little bit more information as far as the Chief Justice, who's been releasing some statements this morning, obviously still in shock at this hour.
I mean, how sticky of a situation is this on the ground where you are in Whitesburg?
Yeah, it is a sticky situation. And Dell, that's the thing. There's so much uncertainty at this hour. As I mentioned, talking with the mayor this morning, she's trying to work out some logistics, who to catch up with. I saw some investigators probably about 200 feet from where I'm standing down by the library here in town. They're trying to work some things out. As far as that retired judge filling the vacancy, Well, as far as operations, well, they're suspended here at the Letcher County Courthouse. We don't know exactly when they will resume, and that has been a lot of uncertainty this morning, as I mentioned. A lot of questions coming my way this morning from citizens here in town. When will they resume operations here at this courthouse? Del?
There are new details in an investigation out of Letcher County, Kentucky, after a judge was fatally shot in his chambers, allegedly by the county sheriff. State police say the 43-year-old Letcher County Sheriff Sean Steins was the shooter. He is in custody, charged with first-degree murder.
However, what happened inside of this closed courthouse yesterday is certainly the talk of the town. Now, those new allegations absolutely just came into our newsroom, so we're still digesting those ourselves, and I'm sure the folks around here are doing the same. Now, that federal lawsuit was filed Monday, and it alleges that a Letcher County Sheriff's deputy repeatedly sexually abused a woman in those very same chambers. Now, that woman claims that the former deputy, named as Ben Fields, forced her to have sexual relations for 6 months in exchange for staying out of jail. Now, Fields did plead guilty to raping the prisoner while she was on home arrest. He was sentenced to jail on charges of rape, sodomy, perjury, and tampering with evidence. But the lawsuit accuses the sheriff, Sean Mickey Steins, of deliberate indifference in failing to adequately train and supervise Fields. Now, Steins is being held in the Leslie County Jail. It's unclear when or where he will appear in court, and it's also unclear when this courthouse will reopen. Live in Whitesburg, Ansley Daniel, News Channel 11.